Brianna, thank you. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe is commending the first responders who put their lives on the line to rescue people caught in last week's flash flooding in Reynolds County. The governor posted pictures on his Facebook page with just a few of the Missouri National Guard members who helped to evacuate more than 200 campers and staff from Camp Tomsock. While speaking at a luncheon in Cape Girardeau today, Kehoe thanked everyone who helped, saying they prevented a larger tragedy.
As many of you know, this past weekend, Missouri was once again challenged by a historic rainfall and flash flooding not too far from here, up in Crawford, Reynolds, and Iron counties. We couldn't have had what could have been a heartbreaking tragedy became a remarkable story of successful courage, coordination, and neighbors helping neighbors.
Kehoe went on to say first responders, as well as local officials and volunteers, worked together to rescue more than 350 people during that flash flood.